Okay, now we would like to start with the contiguous memory allocation. So as I told you earlier, contiguous memory allocation means the word contiguous means so we need to keep the process in a contiguous memory allocation. That means the entire main memory is divided into two partitions. One is for the operating system and the entire remaining part of the operating system. After the operating system, the entire remaining part of the main memory is utilized by the user. That means it will be considered as an user area and next where we can keep the user process, right? So whenever there is a partition, here the partition is called as a whole. The partition is called as a whole. That means a free partition. Free partition is called as a whole. Okay, we need to keep the process into the main memory for the execution. Okay. So what happened here? There are three types of techniques to keep the process into these blocks. For example, if you observe here, all these blocks are of equal size. Okay, that means we can partition them equally or we can go for unequal partitions. If it is an equal partition, there is a no problem. You can keep your process anywhere. Why? Because for example, it is 50 kb of partition, it is also a 50 kb of partition, it is also a 50 kb partition, it is also a 50 kb partition. If any process you want to keep into the main memory, then if all of them are equal sized partitions, then you have a no problem to keep your process in any of the partition. So but if the partitions are unequal, if the partitions are unequal, for example, let's say, so this is the main memory and we kept the operating system in the main memory and it starts at the starting location. It maybe it consumes 1024 in for example. So all the remaining part is utilized for the user. Okay, so now observe this particular diagram. Here the partitions are not equal, right? So this is a small size partition and this is a small size partition and it is a big one and this is also big one. Okay, so for example, these are the 5 partitions available and next this is a 20 kb of size and this is also 20 kb of size and this is maybe 100 kb and this is 130 kb and this is 90 kb for example. Okay, so whenever the process P1 we want to execute the P1, so that we want to keep the process P1 into the main memory. In that, where we need to keep the P1. For example, P1 is of size 80 kb. P1 is of size 80 kb. So where we need to keep the P1? That is a question. For that, we have three types of techniques that is called as first fit, and the next one is the best fit, and the third one is the worst fit. So observe here, if you want to keep your 80 size process into the memory, so obviously 80 kb is not at all, in order to keep the 80 kb process, the first partition is not at all sufficient. Why? Because it is 20 kb in size. So after that, coming to the next one, so 100. So 100 is sufficient to keep the 80. So automatically what the first fit will do? So first fit will choose the second partition, that is 100 kb partition, in order to keep the 80 kb process. Okay, why? Because we can keep 80 kb into the 100 kb partition whole. Okay, and then best fit. So best fit also search for the partition. It starts from here. So entire list, it is such entire list. So 20 we cannot fit, 80 cannot fit in 20, 100. So 100 we can keep the 80, but best fit won't go for it. So best fit will check the entire list. Okay, even in the 100 kb partition we can keep the 80 kb process, But what the best fit will do, best fit will check the entire list of partitions. So after that it move to the next. So in the 20 KB I cannot keep the 80 KB, and it move to the next one. In the 130 KB I can keep the 80 KB, but it won't go for it. And next, coming to last one, 90. If you go for a 90 partition, so automatically we can fit the 80 KB process into the 90 KB partition. So automatically the best fit will choose the 90 KB. Why? Because if you keep the 80 KB process into the 100 KB process partition, what happened? The internal wastage of memory is 20 KB. So that is the reason why best fit won't go for 100. So the next one is 130. If you keep your 80 into 130 partition, 80 KB process into 130 KB partition, automatically the internal wastage is 50 KB. So if you go for 90 KB partition, then the wastage is only 10 KB. That is the reason why the best fit will search the entire list of partitions. In which partition the internal fragmentation is less, it will choose that partition. So it will choose the 90 KB partition to keep the 80 KB partition. Okay. And next, coming to worst fit. So worst fit means, so it will check the entire list. It also check the entire list. Worst fit also check the entire list, which is the biggest partition to keep the process. It will choose that process. So what is the biggest process? What is the biggest partition here? 130 is the biggest partition. So automatically it keep the 80 KB process into 130 KB partition. So the internal memory wastage is 50 KB. Why? Because if you keep 80 KB partition to 130 KB partition, automatically 50 KB internal partition will be remain unused. Okay. So that is the problem. So among these three, which one is the best one? Best fit is the best one. Why? Because if you keep 80 KB partition, 80 KB process into 90 KB partition, so automatically the memory wastage is only 10. If you go to the first fit, the memory wastage is 20 KB. If you go to the worst fit, the memory wastage is 50. So among the three, the best fit is the very good technique, continuous memory allocation technique among the three. Okay. So in those three, what you need to remember, so best fit and the worst fit, these two things will search for the entire list. Whereas in the case of first fit won't go for the entire list. Whenever there is a partition available to keep the process, automatically it will choose that first partition. It won't go for the remaining partitions. Why? Because I can keep my process here in the second partition. Then what is the need of going to the next partition verification? Okay, it will treat like that. Okay. So first fit won't go for the entire search process, whereas best fit and worst fit will search the entire list. So that is called as first fit, best fit, worst fit, the memory allocation techniques. And next, what is swapping? What is swapping? In order to run the process need to be in the main memory. So this is the main memory. The first part is utilized for the operating system and the remaining part is for user area. And then this is called as the backing store. Backing store means secondary memory. So this is the secondary memory and this is the main memory, right? So backing store means swap out process 1 from main memory to the secondary memory. Swap in means from secondary memory to main memory. Okay. Swap out means from main memory to secondary memory, from main memory to secondary memory, or backing store. Swap in means from secondary memory to main memory. Swap in means from secondary memory to main memory, or backing store to main memory. So the combination of swap out and swap in is called as Swapping. Okay, who will take care of swapping? I already told you, medium term scheduler will take care of swapping. So usually when we are running a process, the partially completed process will be swapped out from main memory to the secondary memory. So a bit later, again the process will be moved back to the main memory from the secondary memory. So taking out a process from secondary memory and keep it in the taking out a process from main memory and keep it in the secondary memory is called as swap out. Okay, taking out a process from secondary memory and keep it in the main memory is called as swapping. So the combination of swap out and swap in is called as swapping. Okay, it will be taken care by the medium term scheduler. So far we complete the background and then base and limit registers and next address binding also we have done. There are 3 stages: compile time, load time and the execution time. So is there any problem? Okay. And then so there are 2 types of addresses. One is a logical address and the second one is a physical address. Logical address means CPU generated address and the physical address means actual address. Okay. The set of logical address is called as logical address space and the set of physical addresses is called as physical address space. Okay. What is the purpose of memory management unit? The purpose of memory management unit is to convert the logical address into physical address. Okay. Next, how it will be possible? How the memory management unit will convert the logical address into physical address. The CPU generated address is called as a logical address. So it will be sent to the MMU. Then MMU will add these 346 to the relocation register value 14,000. So this is the base value. Okay. So 346 is added to 14,000. So 14,346 is the physical address. Okay. Likewise, the logical address will be converted into physical address by the MMU. MMU means memory management unit. It is a hardware device. And the next one we had to talk about dynamic loading and dynamic linking. Okay. And then swapping, swap out, we already discussed all these things. Okay, this one is also important. Whenever the CPU generate one address, so automatically the address need to be greater than or equal to base address and it need to be less than base plus limit. Okay, then only we are in the memory which was allocated to the process. So if the condition is, if either of these condition is failed, that means the CPU generated address is less than base address or it may be greater than base plus limit address. What happened? That means that address is not the address which was allocated to the process what we are executing now. That means we are trying to execute the or we are trying to access the instructions which are available in the other process memory allocation. So automatically error will be sent to the operating system. It is called as trap to operating system. It is called as addressing error. We have covered this topic also earlier. Okay, contiguous memory location. As I told you, first fit, best fit, worst fit. Among those, best fit is the good one. And next I had a discussion about external fragmentation and internal fragmentation. So let me explain the concept for you. So initially whenever the CPU generate one address, okay, so actually for example this is our main memory. Okay, so automatically this is a P1 and this is P2 for example. So P1 is of size 1524 and P2 is of size up to 2024 for example. So automatically what happened? So CPU now executing the P1. So the CPU generated address must be in between these two. Okay, that means the CPU generated address must be, now we are executing P1. So the CPU generated address must be in between 1024 and 1524. So 1024 means base. 1524 means base plus limit. So what is the limit? Limit is nothing but a range or size of a process. What is the size of process? For example, size of the process is 500 KB. Okay. So automatically what we need to check? So when the CPU generate one address, it need to be greater than base. It need to be greater than base. If this condition is okay, then we move to the next one. What the next condition? It need to be less than base plus limit. Less than base plus limit. The CPU generated address is greater than base and less than base plus limit. Greater than base means greater than 1024 or greater than equal to. Greater than equal to 1024, and it need to be less than base plus limit. Base plus limit means base is 1024 and limit is 500. So 1024 plus 500 means 1524. So up to this point. Okay. It needs to be, the CPU generated address need to be in between base and base plus limit. Otherwise what happened? If it is not greater than base means the instruction is in the operating system. That means you are trying to access the information available in the operating system. If it is greater than 1524 means what it means? You are trying to access the instructions which are available in the process 2. So we should not access the memory which was allocated to the other processes. Now we are executing P1. So automatically you are the user executing the P1, trying to execute the P1. So the CPU need to access the instructions which are available in between 1024 and 1524. Okay, that is the thing. If the condition is not true, the condition is not true, automatically what happened? No, if it is yes, automatically we can access the instruction which is available in the main memory. Why? Because the address is within the range. If it is not true, automatically there will be a error signal sent to the operating system. Then automatically what the error is? The error is called as addressing error. So what the operating system will do? Operating system will send a signal to the process called abort. Abort means abnormal termination. Okay. And next, what is the next concept we need to talk about? Yes, internal fragmentation and external fragmentation. This is also I have covered yesterday, but these are all important concepts. That is the reason why I would like to revise the topic once again for you. So the operating system is in the first part and the remaining entire part. For example, this is 20 and this is a 50 and this is 70 and again this is 80 KB and this is 10 KB. Okay. So for example, if you want to keep the process like P1, P2, P3, P4, there are 4 processes. P1 is a size 40 and this is a size of 60 and this is a 70. Maybe you can keep your process like this. Again, the process is of 30 KB. So if P4 is of 30 KB, then there are 2 holes, but they are not contiguous. So 20 is here, 20 KB partition is left over here and 10 partition is left over here. So these 2 parts are not contiguous and they are not side by side. So automatically, so we cannot keep the 30 process into these 2 partitions. Why? Because they are not side by side. So this is called as external fragmentation. External fragmentation. Okay. So how can we solve this problem? How can we solve this problem? So this is one hole and this is the another hole, right? This is of 20 KB size and this is of 10 KB size. So what we can do? We can combine, we can keep all the small holes We can move all the small holes and combine them. Consider all small holes and combine them to form a big hole. So this is called as compaction. Very important one. Compaction means combining all small holes and form like a big hole, so that we can keep the process in a big hole. Why? Because these small holes are not sufficient to keep the process into the main memory. So that is called as externally a separate small holes are wasted in the main memory. So they are wasted externally, not within the block. That is why they are called as external fragmentation. Okay, what is about internal fragmentation? For example, observe here, the partition size is 50 and the process P1 is of size 40. That means you are keeping your 40 sized partition into process into 50 kb process. Sorry. You keep you kept a 40 kb process into 50 kb partition. That means here the internal 10 kb of memory is wasted here within the block. Okay, within the block 10 kb of memory wasted within the block. So this wastage is called as internal fragmentation. Okay. So outside of a partition, so individual small partitions are left over in the main memory. So we cannot keep our process into those small holes. That is called as external fragmentation. So we can combine all the small holes and form like a big hole, so that we can keep one process into that partition. So the technique is called as compaction. Okay. So within a block, there might be the memory wastage, that is called as internal fragmentation. Okay, and the next concept is paging. So what is paging? So before going to discuss about paging, let me talk about this is the best one to talk about. So usually the entire physical memory is divided into frames, and the entire logical memory is divided into pages. That is the thing you need to understand. There should be some basic information to understand paging and segmentation concept. Listen carefully. The entire main memory is divided into frames. Here the partitions are called as frames. Entire logical memory is divided into pages. What is logical memory? Nothing but your process. Your process is divided into pages. And the main memory is divided into frames. Okay, so in order to run your process, the process need to be in the main memory. That means, for example, if the process is divided into 4 pages, page 0, it may be page 1, page 2, page 3, total 4 pages. In order to run this process, you need to keep all these 4 pages into the main memory, right? Each and every page requires 1 frame. So page 0 you can keep 1 frame, and page 1 you need to keep in another frame. Like that, all the pages you need to keep into the main memory for the execution. Are you got my point? The entire process that is called as a logical memory is divided into pages, process pages. Okay. Whereas in the case of main memory is divided into frames. In order to run your process, what you need to do? You need to keep your pages into the frames. Each and every page you need to keep in a frame. Okay. So observe this particular diagram. Here there is a page table. What a page table consists of? This blue color ones are frames, and the outer part is pages, page number. This is page number and these are the frame numbers. So this is the logical memory. Logical memory means your process. Your process is divided into 4 pages. As I told you, logical memory is divided into pages and the physical memory is divided into frames. So all these are the frames. This is a physical memory. Physical memory means main memory. And this is your secondary memory. The secondary memory is divided into pages, whereas the main memory is divided into frames. Okay. Now page 0. Page 0, where the page 0 is available? In the page 1, frame 1. Page 0 is available in the frame 1. What a page table consists of, you might have an idea now, right? So outer side partition is a page number, and the inner side table consists of frame number. Which page available in which frame will be known by the page table. Okay. So I will give you information about the 2 pages, and the remaining 2 pages you need to answer. By observing this page table, page 0 is available in the frame 1. Page 1 is available in the frame 4. Where the page 2 and page 3 are available. Where the page 2 and page 3 are available. Where the page 2 is available. Total 61 participants are there. Give me the answer. Where the page 2 is available. What's your problem? Is it okay now? No. Yellow participants to unmute themselves. Yes. Then tell me the answer. Page 0 is available in frame 1 and page 1 is available in frame 4. Then where the page 2 is available?
Frame 3, ma'am.
Page. No, frame 3. Right? Where the page 3 is available? Where the page?
Frame 7.
Frame 7. Right? If you observe the diagram, you can easily identify. This is the page number and these are the frame numbers. Page 0 is available in frame 1. Page 0. Page 1 is available in frame 4. Frame 4, page 1. And then page 2 is available in the frame 3. Frame 3. Page 3 is available in the frame 7. So the entire process here is divided into 4 pages. If you observe in the main memory, the entire process is not in the contiguous memory location. It is non-contiguous. Why? Because page 0 is available in first location, first frame, and page 2 is in the page 3, page 1 is in a frame 4, page 3 is in a frame 7. That means they are not in a contiguous memory location. It is in one location and not contiguously. Here some partitions are left over, right? These are the free holes. These are the free frames. Page 0 is a frame 0 is a free, frame 2 is free, frame 5 is free, frame 6 is free. Contiguous means we need to keep all the 4 pages into the contiguous memory locations. That means page 0 here, page 1, page 2, page 3, like that. But in the, if you observe this particular diagram, so we are not allocated the memory to the pages contiguously. Okay. Page 0 is in frame 1, page 1 is in frame 4, page 2 is in the frame 3, page 3 is in the frame 7. Okay. The outer partition is a page number and the inner numbers are frame numbers. That means the page table consists of 2 entries, page number and the corresponding frame number. Okay. And next, coming to this one, this is a free frame list. So what is a free frame list? So you observe here, the new process is divided into coming. Try to sorry, try to observe A. There are two diagrams in this one. One is A and second one is a B. Try to observe A. So here, in the backing store, what is a backing store? Secondary memory. It is like a cylinder shape, right? As I told you earlier. So here we have one process. The process is divided into 4 pages. Page 0, page 1, page 2, page 3. Here if you observe, the entire process is, try to follow the cursor. Here the entire new process is divided into 4 pages. Page 0, page 1, page 2, page 3. In order to run this process, we need to keep the process into the main memory. This is the main memory, right? So where we can keep these particular process pages, we need to know the free frame list. We need to know the free frame list. Okay, this is the list of free frames available in the main memory. 14, 13, 18, 20, 15. So these are the free frames available. Total 5 free frames are available. We need to keep 4 pages so that we can keep the entire process into the main memory. Okay, why? Because 5 free frames are available and 4 pages are there in the new process. Frame means main memory partitions. Here pages means process partitions. Okay. So what we need to do? We need to keep each and every page into a free frame. So page 0 we can keep in the 14th free frame. And next page 1 we can keep in the 13th frame. Page 2 we can keep in the 18th frame. And next page 3 we can keep in the 20th frame. So that we have only one free frame available. After allocating page 0 to frame 14, page 1 to frame 13, page 2 to frame 18 and page 3 to frame 20, we have only one free frame. So try to observe the B diagram. So page 0, where I kept the page 0? 14th frame. First frame, page 0 to 14th frame. And next page 1, 13th frame. Page 2, 18. Page 3, 20. That is what we mentioned here. This is the new process page table. This process name is new process. New process page table. New process consists of 4 pages. Page 0 is available in frame 14. Page 0 is available in frame 14. Observe here. And then page 1 is available in frame 13. Page 1 is available in the page 13. And next page 2 is available in frame 18. Page 3 is available in frame 20. Okay. So we are using sorry, 4 free frames. We are using 4 free frames. Those are 14, 13, 18, 20. So what about this one? Free frame list is now 15. Free frame list is updated. Why? Because we kept 4 pages into the 4 frames. Only one free frame is available now. That is 15. Okay. Are you got my point? Is this diagram clear to you all? Is it clear to you all? So that I can move to the next.
Ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So on next, I want to write. This is the one you need to have an idea, right? So if this is the secondary memory. Why? Because pages, the entire logical memory is divided into pages. Okay. So how many number of pages are there here? There are total 6 pages. 0 to 5, total 6 pages. Okay. This is the main memory. This is the main memory. Okay. This is the page table. What the page table consists of? Page table has two entries. One is the page number and the second one is the frame number. One is the page number and the second one is the frame number. If your page is available in the main memory frame, then it indicates that valid V. If the page is not available in the main memory, then it indicates I. I means invalid. If the page is available in the main memory frame, then it will be set as V. V means valid. Valid means we can access the information from the main memory. Why? Because the page is available in the main memory. In the page table, I indicates invalid. That means that page is not available in the main memory. Okay. This is the page table. So page table up to now we have only two entries. Now we have one more entry called as valid, invalid. Valid, invalid. V means valid and I means invalid. Okay. Here page 0. Page 0 is available in the main memory frame 2. So we can say that it is a valid one. And next page 1 is available in frame 3. So it is also valid. Page 2 available in frame 4. So it is also valid. Page 3 is available in frame 7. So it is also valid. Page 4 is in 8th frame. So it is valid. Page 5 is available in frame 9. So it is valid. Page 6 is not available in a frame. Not available in the memory. Actually here 0, 0 actually they mention we should not mention 0, 0. Why? Because 0 is also a frame. Here we need to mention hyphen. Hyphen, hyphen. Okay. 6 and 7 are not available in the main memory. So invalid, invalid. 6th page is not available in frame 0. 7th page is not available in the main memory. So actually we should not keep, there is a flaw in the diagram. So here we need to mention hyphen, hyphen, hyphen. Why? Because these pages are not available in the main memory frames. So invalid. If the page is available in the frame, then it is valid. If the page is not available in the frame, then they are considered as invalid pages. What is a valid page and what is invalid page? Valid page means the page is in the frame. Okay. What is invalid page? The page was not allocated a frame. That is invalid. Is it clear to you all? If the page is available in a frame, or the page has allocated a frame, then it is called as a valid page. If a page has not allocated a frame, then it is called as invalid page. Can I move to the next concept? So how can we say that whether the page is valid or invalid? So in the page table we have an entry called as valid and invalid bit. If a bit is set to V, that means the page is in the frame. If a bit is set to I, the page is not in the frame. Is it clear? Can I move to the next topic?
Yes, ma'am.
And the next one is the shared pages. So shared pages means in some situation, more than one process requires the same code. P1, P2, P3. There are three processes. All the three processes are having the same common code. In order to use the common code, we no need to keep the code 3 times into the main memory, right? So the common code, code is called as reentrant. What it is called? What it is called? Reentrant code. If you observe the diagram, you can able to understand easily. Here we have a three process. Process P1, process P2 and process P3. Try to follow the cursor. Then only you can easily understand. Process P1, process P2 and process P3. Okay. So here if you observe the process P1 is divided into 4 pages, process P2 also divided into 4 pages, process P3 also divided into 3 pages. If you observe here, in each and every process there is a common code. What it is? ED1, ED2, ED3. Here also ED1, ED2, ED3. Here also ED1, ED2, ED3. That means all the three processors are willing to have a common code. That is copy, common code. Okay. So what we can do? So we can keep all these three pages into the main memory only once. That means ED1. ED1 is available in frame 3. ED2 is available in frame 4. ED3 is available in frame 6. Okay. All the three processes are using the same frames. All the three processes are using the same frames. If you observe here, so ED1 frame 3, ED2 frame 4, ED3 frame 6. Here also ED1 frame 3, ED2 frame 4, ED3 frame 6. ED1 3, the third frame, ED2 fourth frame, ED3 sixth frame. That means 3, 4, 6 frames are used by all the three process. That means those are called as shared pages. Those are called as shared pages. Why? Because all the three process P1, P2 and P3, all the three are willing to use the same pages. So whenever the multiple process are willing to use the same pages, we no need to keep the pages multiple times into the frames. Okay. Are you got my point? Are you got my point? If you keep ED1, ED2, ED3 separately for P1 and ED2, ED2, ED3 of P2 separately and ED1, ED2, ED3 of process 3 separately into the main memory, how many frames do you require? How many frames do you require? If you are not sharing the frames, how many frames do you require? Most of you are using the refrigerators in your home, right? Most of you are having a refrigerator. No need to uh, no need to end the meeting. Why? Because there is no class. So after my class only there is a class. Okay. I can continue till 10:25. There is no problem. So no need to end the meeting. Okay. Your class will start after 10:25. Okay. So now tell me. So each and every home there is a refrigerator, right? There is a refrigerator in each and every home. Okay, all you are sharing a common refrigerator or everyone are having their own refrigerators? Anyone please try to respond. Why you are not responding? I didn't get. So it is a normal general question, right? For example, each and everyone are using your own birwa and your own refrigerator, your own dining table. Then automatically you need to build your home in 1 acre space. Why? Because your home is not sufficient to keep. So individual birwa to everyone, individual washroom for everyone, individual dining hall for everyone. Like that you want to uh, build a home, automatically it requires much more space to build a house. Similarly, in this particular case also, so whenever the multiple process are having a common code, we no need to keep the common code into the main memory multiple number of times. Here if we observe, process 1 has a common code and process 2 and process 3. three process are having a common code like ED1, ED2, ED3. So what we did, so these common pages are kept into the frames only once. That means ED1 and ED2, ED3 are kept in third frame, fourth frame and sixth frame. So all the remaining process are using the same frames. So no need to keep these pages again into the main memory. If you keep ED1, ED2, ED3 of P2 separately, again we require 3 more frames. If you keep ED1, ED2, ED3 of process 3 into the main memory, again we require 3 more frames. So for 3 process, we require 9 frames in order to keep the 9 pages. Okay, in order to avoid one of that problem, what we did, so we keep the ED1, ED2, ED3 into the main memory frames only once. So as it is a common code, all the remaining process are using the same frames. Okay, and separately data 1 and data 2 and data 3. Data is separate for every process. Here it is a data 1, process 1, data 2, process 2, data 3 and process 3. In that case, we no need to keep in the common place. Why? Because they are not a same code. It is not a reentrant code. Reentrant means duplicate. Reentrant means duplicate, copy. Okay. So data 1 is different, data 2 is different, data 3 is different. So what we did, so data 1 is kept in the frame 1, data 2 is kept in 7th frame, data 3 is kept in 2nd frame. If you observe here, follow the cursor. Data 1 is kept in the frame 1. Data 2 is kept in 7th frame. And data 3 is kept in 2nd frame. Okay. That means data 1, data 2 and data 3 are not reentrant codes. They are separate codes. So that is the reason why those pages are kept in different frames. Whereas ED1, ED2, ED3, those 3 pages are common to all the 3 process. That is the reason why those pages are kept in the frame only once. All the remaining process P1, P2, P3 are using the same frames. Why? Because they are written reentrant codes. Now try to read out the lines. What is a shared code? One copy of read-only code shared among a processes. That means in our example, what is the read-only shared code? The shared code is ED1, ED2, ED3. So we cannot write the information. They are only read-only. Read-only means we can just read. The process cannot write the information. Such a codes are called as read-only codes. We cannot write. We cannot modify them. Just we can use them. We can read them only. We cannot change. We cannot make the changes. They are called as read-only pages. So shared code must appear in the same location in the logical address space of all process. Okay, private code and data. Each process keeps a separate copy of the code and data. The pages for the private code and data can appear anywhere in the logical address space. That means if we observe page 0, page 1, page 2, in the process 1 is ED1, ED2, ED3. And if you observe the process 2, page 0 is ED1, page 2 is ED2, page 3 is ED3. If we observe the process 3 also, page 0 is for ED1 and page 2 is ED2 and page 3 is ED3. So all are common, right? So that is the reason why ED1, ED2, ED3 are kept in the main memory only once. Why? Because they are read-only reentrant codes. That means they are copy, duplicate to one, duplicate to other. They are same. Okay. Whereas data 1, data 2 and data 3 are individual to the process. That means they are private data to process. So whenever it is a private data and it need to be kept separately in the frame. It is not copied to other process. That is the reason why data 1 is kept in the frame 1 and data 2 is kept in the frame 2 and data 3 is kept in the frame 7. Okay. Are you got my point? Is there any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Tell me if you have any doubts. Can I ask you the question? So you can give me the answer via chat or otherwise through the voice. Which one is preferable to you? Right, what is a valid pace? What is a valid pace? How can we know? What is a bit used for a valid or invalid pace? Right? I think you are not willing to give the answers. Let me give. So if a page is available in a frame, then it is called as valid page and it is indicated by valid bit. If the page is not available in the frame, then it will be indicated by I. That means invalid. That means the page is not in the frame. Okay. Okay. And the next one, the main important concept here is, I will try to use the paint. Logical memory is divided into what? Pages. And the main memory is divided into frames. Okay. And one more thing, page table. What a page table consists of? So page table consists of page number and the frame. Okay. If the page, for example, 0th page is in the frame 2, then what it indicates? For example, I will give you one example. Try to give me the answer. There are 3 pages: page 0, page 1, and page 2. So 0, 1, 2. Okay. This is the main memory. These are the frames. Page 0 and then page 1. 0, 1, 2. This is the main memory. Let me know. Frame. Okay. Page 0 is available in which frame?
0th frame.
0th frame. Right. So it is valid or invalid?
Valid.
Okay. So V. And next, page 1 is available in which frame?
2nd frame.
Page 1 is available in which frame?
2nd frame.
2nd frame.
Frame 2.
So it is also valid.
Valid.
Page 2 is available in which frame?
It's not available in the frames.
It is not available in the frame. So it is valid or invalid?
Invalid.
So it is invalid. It is indicated by I.
I.
Okay. So if in the page table, if a bit is set to V, it indicates the page is available in the frame. In the page table, if it is set to I, then it is called as invalid. That means the page is not available in the frame. It is not available in the frame. Okay. And next, what is a shared code? For example, this is a process 1. It is a shared code and it is a data 1. This is a P1. is ED2 and this is data 2. And this is a process 3, ED1, sorry, ED1. And then data 3. This is P3. Okay, this is 1. Okay. So if it is not, shared pages concept is not there. Shared pages concept is not there. For example, this is the main memory. What might happen? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the shared pages concept was not there. What happened? We need to keep the shared pages into the frames. So we need to keep ED1 and data 1. And next we need to keep again ED1 and data 2. And again we need to keep ED1 and again data 3. So automatically, what is the page 1 table? What is the process 1 page table? How many pages we have? 0 page, 1 page, 0 page, 1 page, 0 page, 1 page. Where the page 0 is available? Where the page 0 is available? Where the page
The 0.
where it is available? In the frame 0. And next, where the page 1 available?
In frame 1.
Frame 1. So coming to P2, here also we have 2 pages. Where the page 0 of P2 available?
Third frame.
In the third frame.
Third page.
Where
Third.
the data 2 available?
Fourth frame.
Fourth frame.
Fourth frame.
Where it is available? Sixth frame and the seventh frame.
Frame.
Okay. That means we need to keep ED1 multiple number of times into the main memory if the shared memory concept is not there. Okay. So that is a problem. In order to avoid such a problem, that means here the memory is waste. Why? Because ED1, keeping the same code multiple number of times into the frame is not a good idea and it is a memory waste. In order to avoid this concept, we need to move to the shared pages concept. Okay. If you use the shared concept, so what might happen? So obviously we no need to keep the ED1 multiple number of times. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then 7, 8, the same memory for example. So what happened? We can keep the ED1 only one time and the data 1 and data 2 as usual and data 3 might be in the 7th frame. So automatically how many times you keep the ED1 in the main memory? Only one time. Here in this example, we kept the same code multiple number of times. So ED1 is a duplicate code. That means it is a copy. So automatically what is the need of keeping the same data multiple number of times into the main memory? So it is a memory wastage. In order to avoid such a problem, these pages are called as shared pages. Shared pages means all the pages are same for all the process. Okay, na? And those pages are read-only pages. That means they are not modified by the other process. Okay. So if they are shared pages, then how many number of times we can keep in the main memory? We can keep them into the main memory only one time. Okay. So automatically here also 0, here also 0. So that we can save this frame and this frame. Third frame is empty. Here the third frame is occupied by ED1 again, but it is here free frame. Here sixth frame is occupied by ED1 again. Here the sixth frame is free. So these free frames are utilized for the other processes so that we can save the memory. Okay. So that is the concept of shared memory, shared pages. If multiple processes are having the same code like ED1, 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 we no need to keep them into the frames separately. Only once we can keep in the main memory. and all the remaining process can use the same frame to keep the data. Okay, those shared pages are also called as reentrant code. Reentrant. Okay, so that we can save the memory. Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, can I end the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tomorrow we don't have a session. Sorry. Today afternoon we don't have a session.